Hello, and welcome to part 2 of our Skype for Business to Teams Upgrade Planning, Upgrade Basic Edition. Additional modules can be found at the link noted at the top of this slide. For feedback on this particular session, you can utilize the AKA MS link/Teams community and adding the IT Pro Training label. Additionally, you can provide feedback for this feature through our user voice site. The last bullet of this slide will indicate the current version of this presentation. This deck can be re-delivered in parts, or it can be delivered as is. Additional resources can be found at the links shown on this slide. If you have any feedback, please follow the process documented here. The current version of this presentation is listed on this slide. In this training, we will cover the paths to Teams, focusing on the Upgrade Basic path, as well as the user and admin experiences. Now that we looked at some of the foundational components of coexistence, let's dig deeper into a specific path to Microsoft Teams, known as Upgrade Basic. As we discussed in part 1 of this training, we've organized the Upgrade framework into 2 paths, the Upgrade Basic path and the Upgrade Pro path. The Upgrade Basic, as you can see on this image here, is really tailored more towards small businesses that are utilizing Skype for Business online deployments, focusing on IM and presence and potentially meetings, and are looking for a full company rollout of Teams. The rest of this training will be focused on the Upgrade Basic path. As we double-click into the Upgrade Basic path, you'll see that it's a clear set of go-do activities to quickly upgrade an entire organization from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams. You can see in the slide a series of 10 steps. What we'll do in the rest of this training is take you through what this will look like from a planning, a user, and administrative experience. In this example, the starting point for our customer is Skype for Business Online. This particular customer is a small, more agile customer, potentially only utilizing workloads such as chat, and the customer has decided that they will follow the Upgrade Basic path. When following the Upgrade Basic path, out of the box, we will be utilizing Islands mode. This means that the end users will be able to utilize both their Skype for Business and Teams clients side by side. At a predetermined period of time, the IT administrator will turn on the Notify setting. This will enable a banner to light up within the user's Skype for Business client, indicating that an upgrade to Microsoft Teams is approaching. After a predetermined period of time has passed, the organization as a whole will then be upgraded to Microsoft Teams. Be sure to check out the URL we have at the bottom of the slide here for detailed guidance as well as supporting resources on your Upgrade Basic path. Now let's take a look at what the user experience is as we take an end user into Teams-only mode. So what can an upgraded user actually do? When we assign the Teams-only coexistence mode to a user or to our entire organization, those users are now considered to be upgraded Teams users. These users will create new meetings only within Microsoft Teams, either through the Microsoft Teams client or through the Teams add-in to Microsoft Outlook. They will still have the ability to join existing Skype for Business meetings via their Skype for Business client. Contacts that they had within Skype for Business will be migrated over to Microsoft Teams. The user will no longer be able to utilize the Skype for Business client for IM, instant messaging, or calling. The screenshot that you see on the right side of the slide shows what the Skype for Business client looks like after the user has been upgraded to Teams-only mode. Now, administrators do have the ability to control this on a per-user basis, but as part of the Upgrade Basic journey, we have the opportunity to do this at the entire organization level as well. Now, from the client perspective, we did mention earlier that it's a good idea from a communications and people change standpoint to have an opportunity to provide some notice that the upgrade is coming. The screenshots that you see here show what that progression would look like from the end user's perspective on Skype for Business. The screenshot on the left is a Skype for Business user just utilizing their Skype client as they normally would. In the middle, This is an opportunity for the administrator to configure this user with a notify setting. That prompts a banner to show up in the Skype for Business client, giving the user some advance notice that Skype for Business will be upgraded to Microsoft Teams. The last screenshot that you see on the right showcases a user that has been given the Teams only mode and has been completely upgraded from Skype for Business to Teams. As we kind of showed earlier when we broke down the various coexistence modes, in this particular instance, the Skype for Business Outlook meeting add-in is removed. All of the integrations to Office are removed from a Skype for Business perspective, and they get remapped into Teams. So the presence bubbles that you see inside of Outlook, the initiation of a chat from the contact card and so forth will be redirected to Teams once the user is placed into Teams only mode. As we've stressed multiple times throughout this training, but it bears responding again, the modes that are assigned to the user do not affect their ability to join meetings. Now, as a user is upgraded to Teams only mode, they will still have the ability to join Skype for Business meetings. From an administrative perspective, we can control whether they join those meetings utilizing the full client, which is still installed on their machine, or whether we redirect them to the Skype Meetings app. What you can see in the screenshot here on the left, this is a Teams client. So this is a user that has been upgraded to Teams only mode. Looking at the calendar, I see I have a meeting that happens to be a Skype meeting, right? But from within my Teams client, I will simply join this meeting just as I would join any other meeting by either clicking the join button here or clicking the join Skype meeting link. By default, the experience is going to be to simply launch the Skype client and join the user into that Skype for Business meeting. If they no longer have the Skype client or the administrator has changed the configuration, they would have the ability to be directed to the web interface and utilize the Skype Meetings app experience. You download the Skype Meeting app, run it, and away you go. Users can not only join meetings from the calendar from inside of Teams, but an upgraded user could also join the meeting from within Outlook, whether this is the Outlook meeting reminder that pops up, for example, or just opening a calendar invite like we see here. So here's my calendar invite from inside of Outlook. You'll notice, just as you had seen before, I can click Join Skype Meeting, and as we discussed on the previous slide, the default experience is going to be to simply launch the Skype for Business application in the background and join them using the native Skype for Business app. Or, again, alternatively, the administrator could reconfigure it such that they no longer use the full Skype client, but they go ahead and utilize the web experience or the Skype Meetings app experience. Now, why would you want to allow them to continue to use the native app? Well, the native app has more features than, say, the Meetings app does. For example, if you want folks to be able to continue to record a meeting in Skype for Business, the native client can do that. The Skype Meetings app cannot. Now let's take a look at the mobile join experience. We're going to look at some screenshots of an iOS application. In this first screenshot, you can see the Skype for Business client for a user that has been upgraded to Microsoft Teams. You may notice that the application looks a little bit different. In this case, we're focusing on utilizing this application for meeting join purposes. So as you can see, I do have a banner indicating that I have been upgraded to Microsoft Teams, but I also have the ability to see my upcoming meetings. If I were to click on the meeting icon in the upper right-hand side, that would take me to a view of all of my upcoming meetings. Now, this will show both our Skype for Business meetings as well as my Microsoft Teams meetings in this singular view, allowing me to perform a one-touch join for either of the meeting types. Now, because I am a user that has been upgraded to Microsoft Teams, of course I could use my Teams application to look at my meetings for the day and perform the same operations where I have the ability to do a one-tap join. This gives the user the flexibility to join their meetings from either the Skype mobile app, the Teams mobile app, or even from an Outlook meeting invite, which I currently don't have pictured here. As the user makes their choice and performs their one-tap join, they will be presented with the Meeting Join dialog box. They are now joining this meeting as an authenticated user and will have the opportunity to join the meeting either utilizing the Skype for Business experience with full audio and video, or the opportunity to have the system call them back over the cellular network. At this point, I'm now joined into the Skype for Business meeting, just as I would have been prior to the upgrade to Microsoft Teams. I have access to the same in-call controls that I would have had access to prior to the upgrade. And if I were to tap on the messaging icon in the upper right-hand side, I would be able to gain access to the chat experience inside of the Skype for Business meeting. This allows me to continue to experience my Skype for Business meeting exactly the same way that I did prior to the upgrade to Microsoft Teams. When the meeting has concluded, and I leave the meeting, I'll be returned back to the main interface of the Skype for Business client. In this case, you will notice that the history of that meeting is available from a chat perspective, allowing me to go back and review any of the chat messages that were typed up throughout the duration of that particular meeting. Now let's talk about the admin experience and what the administrator needs to configure to ensure that a user is upgraded from Skype for Business to Teams. In the context of the Upgrade Basic path, we would want to first ensure that all of our users are utilizing Islands mode. To set Islands mode, we would go into our Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business Admin Center, sometimes referred to as Modern Portal. On the left-hand side, you can see as I expand out org-wide settings, I have an option listed for Teams Upgrade. When I select Teams Upgrade, I'll see a drop-down box for coexistence mode. And our first step here is to set the coexistence mode to Islands for the entire organization. This sets the stage for the Upgrade Basic path, allowing us to ensure that all of our users are utilizing both the Teams client and the Skype for Business client in preparation for the upgrade to Microsoft Teams. After we have established our users using Islands mode, our next step along the Upgrade Basic path is to ensure that we notify our users of the pending upgrade to Microsoft Teams. This is accomplished also in the Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business Admin Center. Underneath org-wide settings, under Teams Upgrade, you can see in my screenshot here that there's a toggle switch for notify Skype for Business users that an upgrade to Teams is available. At your predetermined time, you will toggle this option, which in turn will light up a banner in the user's Skype for Business client. This is indicating to the user that Skype for Business will be upgraded to Microsoft Teams. And from a planning perspective, you would ensure that this is done within an appropriate time frame by which you would choose to then switch the user over to Teams only mode and complete the upgrade. The next step on the path is to ensure that we upgrade the user to Teams. This is also accomplished through our Microsoft Teams and Skype for Business Admin Center. As you can see under org-wide settings, Teams Upgrade. In this case, I'll set the coexistence mode for the entire organization to Teams only. This, as part of the Upgrade Basic path, will upgrade the entire organization from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams. Now remember, from a timing perspective, we've already placed the users into Islands mode from a coexistence standpoint, and we've already toggled the notification ahead of time so that the users are aware that this change is coming. At this particular stage, once we hit this drop down for Teams only, we will be preparing to upgrade the entire organization to Microsoft Teams. After changing the coexistence mode to Teams only and clicking Save, I'm going to receive a confirmation dialog box, as you see here, indicating that the users will no longer be able to utilize Skype for Business because at this point I am essentially upgrading them to Microsoft Teams. The administrator will need to ensure that they check the checkbox here, understanding the effect of this change, and click Save for this particular change to take effect. Now that we've completed the technical aspects of the Upgrade Basic piece, we're not done yet, right? We've achieved our upgrade to Teams from a technical standpoint, but remember, as we talked earlier, it's not just about the technical aspects, but there's also the user aspects as well. So we want to make sure that we continue our upgrade basic journey by monitoring usage against the baseline, ensuring that the usage that we had in the Skype for Business world continues in the Microsoft Teams world. We want to ensure that we can measure our user satisfaction with the upgrade and continue to maximize our return on investment or our ROI with Microsoft Teams. Thank you for attending our training on Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams, the Upgrade Basic Path. For additional information, please visit our Success with Teams website at aka.ms/SWT for all of the latest documentation and guidance for your journey from Skype for Business to Microsoft Teams.